Sportsmanlike here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. The voices there of Mark Zeno, Gerard Cherry, three-time Super Bowl champion. Last night on game night here on ESPN Radio. Mark is based in Atlanta. Gerard played the sport at the highest of levels, won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots, and they were talking about the Falcons yesterday. Moving on from Raheem Morris after only 2 years, they fired the GM as well. 8-9 in both of the seasons. They had a nice little run at the end of the season to look competitive. Of course, they obviously lost their starting quarterback, their intended starting quarterback this year, Michael Penix Jr. Did Atlanta make the right move?
I'm not going to say it's the wrong move, but it's a rough deal for Raheem Morris. I don't feel like he's gotten the opportunity to get the program turned around. Remember, they hired him in the same year that they drafted a quarterback with the top 10 pick. So you understood that there was going to be some unevenness when it comes to being able to get things settled and get to the point where you could have sustained success and compete for a division. And you talked about it a little bit back in April when the Falcons traded with the Rams in the first round in order to get an additional pick and draft pass rusher James Pierce Jr. It felt like a last gasp for this regime in terms of the sense of urgency that they had to get to the playoffs this year.
That's right.
And the fact that they came up short, it just made it clear for ownership that this regime, this front office, was not going to be the one to get things fixed. And I feel like Raheem Morris, in a lot of ways, got caught up in the turnover that inevitably was going to happen because the Falcons failed to make the postseason.
Yeah, he was a casualty of an overall regime change. And I, too, am bummed out for him because I thought the way that they finished would guarantee that he would come back. You win 4 straight games. You have players openly advocating for him. I think Drake London said he wanted Raheem Morris back with all his heart. You have guys on that team that believe in him, that obviously played hard for him, and they finished the season strong.
The last month of football tells you that.
Exactly.
They beat the Rams.
That's right.
Nobody thought that was going to happen. They beat the Bucs with everything to play for on a short week on the road. Those are significant wins. The New Orleans Saints were a hot team coming down the stretch. Tyler Shuck was playing awesome. They found a way to be able to beat them. Think about this. The Saints had won 4 games in a row, and Atlanta took care of their business yesterday. Mm-hmm. That shows you how they feel about the head coach.
Absolutely. So I thought that given all of those circumstances, even if you did want to have some turnover in the front office, that you would keep Raheem Morris on as the coach, because it's hard to get guys to buy into what you're doing. And he'd only been there 2 seasons. And I know based on the division and Atlanta's hopes for competing and winning the NFC South that they expected more. But I just think that organizations are not patient anymore. They never want to give guys a long runway to build something. And I thought that what the Falcons did down the stretch was an indicator that he was building something, that if they could get more pieces from a talent perspective, that he was the right voice to lead this organization moving forward. But clearly they didn't see it the same way.
Yeah, I didn't see that they were building anything, to be honest with you, because if we're going to say that they believe in a coach based on wins late, then did they not believe in him early? Because they lost?
Well, the quarterback got hurt.
Yeah, I get it, and I think
that's a big piece of it. The quarterback got hurt, and then the guy that was thrust into the starting quarterback job didn't want to be there. So he wanted to get moved, but only to his preferred destination. So that's a hell of a situation. That's a hell of a hand to deal your head coach. You signed Kirk Cousins in free agency, then blindsided Kirk Cousins by drafting a quarterback in the top 10, but you tell Kirk Cousins in 2024, you're the leader of our football team until you're not, because Michael Penix eventually will be.
Right.
And then we're going to call on Kirk Cousins this year unexpectedly because Michael Penix Jr. gets hurt.
If I had to guess what's happened here, I think it's pretty clear. The moment they reached out reportedly to Matt Ryan, and Matt Ryan taking over anything with this organization, Matt Ryan likely said, if I'm going to do this, I need a clean slate. I need to bring in the people that I know and I work with and I trust. And I'm not firing anybody. You have to. Because why? If you're a hot commodity out there, the New York Giants called Chris Canty and said, we want you to be the team president and run everything. More likely than not, you're not going to want Joe Shane to be your general manager. Guess what you don't have to do then? You don't have to be the one that fires him. You fire him. Mm-hmm. You want me? I want a clean slate, and I don't want my first act to be firing people.
Sure.
Right? So if Matt Ryan's going to go in there and be the guy to run the team, he likely said to ownership, if you want me, I want to come into no one. I don't want my first act to be firing 2 people. That's ridiculous. Because if I don't have to do this job, if you want me to do the job, you get rid of everyone and I'll bring in my own people. That is, I bet, what's happening. Now, the one guy who's escaped from all of this, where's Rich McKay in all of this? The guy who's been the team president. I know he does more than football, but this guy has presided over this franchise for since 28-3, and they've run through coaches. They continue to run through coaches. 5
coaches in 11 years.
I believe he's been there for all of them.
Yeah, he has been.
Right? And so even if it's just for public perception purposes, you need to, in that same press release, I think, when you're firing coach and general manager, let everyone know he's now working on a different side of Arthur Blank's business. He's working on Home Depot or whatever it is that he's involved in, right?
Yeah.
Like, he can't be involved in the football thing. Because clearly there was a debate and a divide as to who they should hire the last time out. And I believe ownership gave general manager and team president the opportunity to hire who they wanted. And by the way, Raheem Morris was a more than deserving candidate. The guy's resume is excellent in terms of his preparation for the job. And I hope he gets another chance at some point somewhere.
He won't.
I know he won't.
He won't.
I know
he's been a head coach twice.
I know he won't.
He won't get. And that's the part that sucks.
Yes.
That's the part that's frustrating. He had 3 years down in Tampa, no quarterback, didn't work out, 17-31 record. I understand that. And I'm certain that he grew and he learned a whole lot. But this time around, 2 seasons in Atlanta, 2 games below 500, considering all the upheaval when it comes to your quarterback situation, and you fire him, and knowing that he's likely not going to get another job in the NFL, that's tough for me to digest, man. Again, I understand why they did it. I understand why change was necessary in Atlanta. I just hate that he gets caught up in it.
Wild prediction, unsubstantiated. What's a reckless speculation?
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. I bet you if Matt Ryan takes over, he tries to make a run at Kyle Shanahan. They're not going to get him, but I bet you we hear that Atlanta tries to make a run at Kyle Shanahan to get him away from San Francisco.
How are you going to get Kyle away from San Francisco? He's got everything he wants in San Francisco.
You're not, but I bet
he's got final say over the roster and everything.
And a lot of success.
Yeah. And a quarterback.
Right.
Just
He's going to be there for a while. He got paid.
Just saying. I could see it happening. Now, they're not going to get him, but Matt Ryan, when he won the MVP, his OC, Kyle Shanahan, you don't think he's going to be excited about that if he's running that team? They'll try to make a run at him. I don't think they're going to get him, but I could see that happening. All right, coming up, our first upon further review of 2026. We'll do that coming up next. We're on Sportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, presented by